Okay, so welcome to each and every one, whether you're watching here live with me or whether you are coming back later to swing by and have a look at the replay. Each and every one is very welcome. And today you're joining me for a Mindful Moments series, which is called Overcoming Depression. And we are going to be talking about pathways to a much brighter future. So I really do appreciate the fact that you're joining in here and that you're taking the time to check in here, because that means that you're prioritizing your well-being. And whether you're looking for ways maybe to support yourself, or it could be ways in which you can support someone that you care deeply about, then this is an incredible first step towards creating that positive change in your life. So, just to give you an idea of what we're going to do here today, and before we dive in, I'd like to give you a little sort of insight into the word depression. I just thought it was, when it came to me first, I thought, like, this is amazing. That word depression comes from the word depress. Now, depress means to push down. And when I work with my clients, they very often speak to me of how their energy is just so low and they can't seem to get that motivation going or get to do pretty much anything much in their lives because their energy is pushed right down by the weight of that negative worries and chaos and that depression that hangs upon them. And so then that makes it very difficult for people to move forward in life, to be able to, and they know they can, they know they're capable of doing way more, and they know they're capable of expressing themselves, but they haven't got the wherewithal or the energy to rise up from that weight that is pushing them down. But hang on, here's the good news. Healing is possible. I've seen it many times during my work with clients. Mindfulness, yes, that can support your loved ones. It's like ways putting strategy in place, and we'll talk about that, ways of helping one another and helping yourself to deal with things. But what I actually work when I'm working with people, I use hypnosis in the form of therapy, like hypnotherapy. And that is really a fantastic path to help people on their road to recovery. It helps to support the right mindset. It's like we work together and I plant those seeds of positive mindsets and thoughts that are helping in the growth towards brighter days ahead. And yes, healing is so possible. So today we're going to talk about stress and depression. How stress can actually be now almost like a lead in to the weight that comes upon people that causes that depression. We'll explore we'll explore what happiness means, because happiness is a different meaning to everybody. And yet there's one basic happiness that we all crave. And so we'll have a look at that. And then we'll see, how can we manage the negativity? How can we reclaim that energy and that space and get out from underneath the weight of that negativity and that depression that hangs on us? And before we finish, yes, we will go through a lovely, relaxing hypnosis session so that it'll be a help to you to help kickstart that healing process. So just take a moment to just to understand that stress is a normal part of our everyday lives, and it's how our bodies and mind respond to stress. There lies the challenge. You see, if it could be a deadline at work for you, it could be a tough conversation that you need to have. Sometimes it's a big life change. Sometimes it could be a difficult, stressful life event that happened. And that stress becomes chronic. It's like it piles up and up and up. Again, we're back to the sense of weight, that stress piling up, weighing down heavily. And that can lead to that heavier feeling of depression. So that is not anybody's fault. You are no fault to anybody here. It just simply means that when the weight of the stress builds up so far that it becomes too heavy, we tend to drop into that state of depression. And we all get caught at times with a lot of stress and maybe even some form of depression because life, it throws curveballs at us. And we have to be able to move through those situations as best we can. But what happens, or what we're dealing with here today, is we're going to be looking into the tools that can help us respond to the stress and to the depression and to those weighted feelings, difficult emotions that are holding our energy and our well-being down. Sometimes I talk about it as like stress and depression, they're like dance partners and they feed off one another. So stress moves in and it builds up and it begins to take the toll on your body and mind. That's leaving you open then for depression, just to sneak on in and take space in your mind and in your body so that it begins to have its impact in that movement and on your life. So what are the physical tolls of stress upon you? Well, for people who suffer from fatigue or from depression, fatigue is huge. They just feel like that it never seems to go away. They wake up in the morning and it just seems to be hanging there. Fatigue always seems to be there in their lives. And that's one of the, I suppose, big signs of depression in one's life, where you can't seem to escape that fatigue. People tend to suffer from tension headaches. They can have muscle pain. They can very often have trouble sleeping at night. Maybe they're having restless nights. I mean, I know in one particular case, a lady who didn't sleep at all at night, and she would only go to bed in the morning time. When she felt, I suppose, that there was something else, that other people were moving during the day, and she just switched off. But at night, she just couldn't switch off and couldn't get that sense of rest. So emotionally, then depression can really play upon us. It can create irritability. Very often you'd see people get annoyed and frustrated and why me? They're just so irritable. They have that sense of feeling on edge all of the time. It's like they're continuously waiting for a bomb to go off around them. They can't seem to rest easy. It's constant, frazzled and tension within them, and their mind is running at the same rate. Other people have that sense of hopelessness. There's just no way out. But there is help available, and they must always be given that chance. People have difficulty focusing, difficulty remembering things. And over time, constant stress, like that weight I've been talking about, it tends to depress, push down your energy so that you find it extremely difficult at that point to create any joy in your life, to find joy, or to find your own energy levels either, because they are so weighted down by the weight of that pressure upon you. Now, cycles of stress and tension and negativity, they all feed into one another. So stress, it kind of is like that it makes you feel tense and on edge. And then that tension drives the emotional and physical energy. So that leaves you absolutely drained of energy and negative because it's being sucked away elsewhere. And then those negative emotions that run through the body, they can give rise to guilt. Why can't I do more to help? The feeling of sadness, overwhelming sadness, and there's no real absolute reason for it. And the frustration, it could be frustration within yourself that you could be doing more and you're capable of doing more, but just it's not happening for you. And that frustration, that shame, that guilt comes right up inside of you, making it even harder to cope with the stress. And that's what creates that loop, that cycle, that's quite difficult to break. Now, you're not alone in that space. Many people, and it can happen to anybody, that you can end up into that cycle of that loop of the stress, the tension, the negative emotions, all feeding into that depression. And people often get caught in that at some stage in their life, because that's what, life happens. But where the thing is, we need to be able to deal with the situations. And that's the part where I love to work. That's the really good news that I'm sharing here today. There are ways to break that cycle of that negativity. Stress and negativity can feed into one another. But if they can do that, here's the piece. Positivity can do exactly the same when you know how to do it or when you're taught how to do it. You see, relaxation and positivity, they can act as small acts of self-care. And then that feeds into a much more positive way of being. You begin to create, might be a bit slow at the start, but it's okay. You are stepping out and starting to make those connections in the mind where it's leading into a more positive, healthier cycle for you. So feeling stuck in a negative cycle right now, well, that's okay. It's okay because it happens to all of us. We all get times when we're overwhelmed. We all get times where we're finding it difficult to deal with life. And it absolutely is okay to ask for help. So whether that's help from a loved one or a professional person, and using, say, the tools of hypnotherapy, it's a sign actually of strength, not weakness. Somebody who can ask for help. I admire them so much. Those people who pick up the phone to me or who drop me a message and they say, I could do with help. I'm like, oh my goodness, you are so, so brave. And it is a real act of strength to do that. In fact, it's probably the hardest step on the journey, because once somebody connects with me, after that, I'm going, okay, I'm with you now. And it's my job then to put my arm around them, whether that's virtually or physically, and just say, come on, come in, let's see what's going on here, and let's begin to reframe what's happening in your life. But for that first reach out, it does take strength, and I admire all of my clients who do and make that first step. And yes, it absolutely is okay, and more than okay, to reach out and to ask for help. So moving on a little bit, I'd like to just talk just very briefly here about a thing called happiness. And what does happiness mean to you? What does it mean to you? Like, if you were to just could flick a switch and be happy, what would that mean to you? What would you be doing differently? What would you be saying differently? What would be going on in your life that would be different? Being happy. Well, let's talk a little bit about it. There's a psychologist called Martin Siegel. He's what we call the father of positive psychology. And he believes that happiness is not a constant state. We go into it and we go out of it and we can come back into it again. So that's good news. And it is also a skill that involves optimism and resilience. But here's the gorgeous piece. If it's a skill, it means we can learn it. You've learned many skills in your life, I'm guessing. Bet you learned to ride a bicycle. Bet you learned to use the washing machine. Whatever the skill is, you can learn it. And if happiness is a skill, which yes, it is, and I've taught it, I work on it on myself, I've taught it to many people. Happiness is a skill that you too can learn. It comes down to undoing what you've already learned, which was a negative pattern. That needs to be undone. And then it's like updating the positive learnings in your mind. If you think of it like a pair of shoes and you're wearing them and they're uncomfortable, undo them, take them off, get a new, more comfy pair of shoes and learn how to lace them up. And then your whole life changes. You have the freedom to go and be comfortable. So Hypnotherapy can certainly teach you those skills. And I just love working with my clients, showing them and helping them to undo the negative thought patterns and then plant in the seeds of change into that lovely, positive, easy way of life. And another thing is that, like, expecting to be happy in just like that, unless you've trained at it, then it may not come that readily. A bit like going to the gym, going into the gym once, doing a workout once. Doesn't mean you're going to be fit to run a great big race. It's practice. It takes practice. It takes putting all of the skills in place. And I can honestly assure you that once you put those skills in place and you've learned it, nobody, but nobody will ever take it away from you again. And here's the other thing. Nobody has any right to take it away from you either. It is your birthright to feel comfortable, calm, and relaxed within yourself. And you can learn to feel happy in that state because it is doable and it is teachable and it is trainable. And through hypnotherapy, that's where I find it works absolutely fantastic. So why then, when you talk about, say, negativity and depression or stress, and then you talk about happiness, if happiness is so learnable, well, why haven't we learned it? Why haven't we been taught it? What's going on? So it comes back to the fact that we have, as people, we have a negativity bias. It's what happens to help. It has used it. We've used it down through the years, and it's there because it has helped us to survive as we go through life. Survive from the fears of being attacked. This is going way back when we were out in the wilds and we had to run after our food to catch it. We had to be on alert. So negativity was our bias. Because if something good happened, well, 2 seconds later, we needed to be ready because something could come at us. So it's a bit like, you know, the little kiddie shoes with the Velcro straps where you can just pull them across and they make that as you open them up. Negativity tends to stick to us because of our negativity bias. Like those Velcro straps that close over, they stick and stay closed. And we have to pull them back to get them to open back up. But on the other hand, you know, if something positive happens, and this is for all of us, if somebody said something nice to you today and said, "Oh, your jacket is gorgeous today," well, you probably have that forgotten about 2 seconds later. It's a bit like what we call the Teflon effect, where the compliment or the nice thing literally slides away from us. We just let it go, but we tend to hold on to the thing that was happened that was negative in our lives. So that's because of that negativity bias within us. So if I were to say to you today, what's one small positive thing that has happened for you today? Bring your mind to it. It could be, it doesn't have to be a huge, big thing. It could be very small. It could be that lovely cup of tea that you just had. It could be that somebody gave you a nice smile when you were out earlier. It could be that you got out for a short walk. That's a lovely thing. It's a positive thing. But see how quickly we can just dismiss it. And I see Mary has just dropped a comment into the comment box to say the importance of gratitude. And that is it exactly, Mary. When we're working on ourselves or working with other people, loved ones or clients, whatever the case may be, gratitude is hugely important. Being there and thanking ourselves for those good feelings, the good things that are happening, so that that then becomes our go-to. And that's a great way of fending off negativity. So Here's a way that I describe depression. It tends to sneak in after you've gone through a very stressful period or a difficult event in your life, or perhaps an incident that caused you to feel maybe a blame or a shame within yourself, something that deeply upset you. That depression can sneak in there. And it just means that you begin to feel more uncomfortable or upset. It sneaks in and it just robs you of your joy and your space and your energy. And to all intents and purposes, I see it like a thief that comes in and starts taking from you, taking your goodness, taking your energy, taking your happiness, and just telling you that those moments of happiness that you'd normally be grateful for, they don't count. And they're in with this bigger stuff going on, which is all negative. So it's like a thief. It keeps stealing from you. And ways in which we can help ourselves to overcome and to make sure we protect ourselves from too much stress or too much tension or that depression in our lives. Well, gratitude, just as Mary dropped into the chat box just a few moments ago, gratitude is a fantastic way that we can help ourselves. Again, coming back to that Professor Martin Seligman, he says that if you put in 3 things, keep a journal. And I do this for myself, and I get my clients to do it as well. Keeping a journal, I tend to do it last thing at night, where I write in 3 things that happened during the day that I am grateful for. And again, they don't have to be huge. It's just that my Zoom wasn't working earlier today, but I got it working. Will that go into my list tonight? Absolutely. Grateful for people being able to help me get my Zoom working in time for my meeting today. And I see Mary has also added a notice to say that yes, she does gratitude in her journal as well, which is a wonderful way. It just helps to retrain the mind to zone in on the positives. We're way too quick, remember, on zoning in on the negatives. But when we train the mind to zone in on the positives, we're protecting ourselves. So if it's a loved one, you could sit with them and ask them, what were 3 nice things that happened today for you? And get them into that idea of just acknowledging the good things in their lives, because we all have so much good going on in our lives. And another way of sort of buffering ourselves or protecting ourselves is to do maybe little acts of kindness. Now, I know when you're down and you just don't feel like you have the energy for anything, you might think, how can I do an act of kindness? But it could be just that you give a wave to somebody as they walk past outside. It could be that you give a little smile to somebody because they might need your smile to boost their day. Maybe that smile is going into their book of gratitude tonight. So don't underestimate the small things that you can do and the feeling that you're sharing with somebody, that it is just so important and can certainly lift other people. And if you want to just be able to pull yourself out of times when it's difficult on you, well, one of the things I suggest is that you do a mindfulness technique. Bring yourself into the now. Or as a friend of mine used to say, bring yourself into the wow, Helen. So bring yourself into the now, because it can be a bit wow as well. It can lift your spirits. And so maybe you would choose to look for 4 things that you can see around you that are blue. Or maybe you look for flowers that maybe you can see either through the window or they may be there and you hadn't noticed them before. You know, just bringing yourself into the moment allows you to just reconnect with that spirit, that energy part within you. And that is the part, it can help to calm your mind. And it can then, what you're really doing is retraining the negative thought processing to stop for a moment and to be. And from that space, it becomes easier to begin to lift your spirits. And that is exactly how hypnotherapy works. In hypnotherapy, the first thing I do with my clients is to help calm the mind. They're just relaxing. And as Mary's just dropping in again, she said, when we're doing this, we're creating the new neural pathways in the brain. Thank you for sharing, Mary. And that is exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what happens when we're doing the hypnotherapy. In that session, number one, as I was saying, I calm the mind so that everything can begin to just settle. And then begin to retrain those negative thought patterns. And as the session progresses, then I can drop in or plant in those little seeds of change. The change that creates the change in the neural pathways of the brain so that you can begin to start growing the positive thoughts in your mind. And those are the ones that we begin to water them and grow them so that they begin to flourish and to come right up into your mind. And as I said earlier, I deal with many clients who come to me, and it's the mind. They just can't seem to control the thoughts in the mind. They're so worn out, frazzled, exhausted, and their energy is low. And they then begin to unfold that old pattern. We unlearn it, back to the shoelaces, and we plant in the seeds to learn the new way of being. So right now, I'm going to just give you a little sample of what a hypnotherapy session would be like. And this is a sample, it's very general, but when I work with my clients, this would be very specific. It would also be longer, but it would be very specific to the individual and what their story is. Because everybody, whilst the emotions and the things can sort of be similar, everybody's story and how it feels in them, well, that's their story. And I take each person on a very personal level. So just giving you a little taster of what a hypnotherapy session would be like. Just sit back exactly where you are once it's safe to do so. Once you're not in a situation where somebody's going to come barging in or you've got to be in control of some kind of machinery or driving or whatever, please wait until you're in a space where you can sit back, where you won't be disturbed, and take a few minutes with me here. And we'll have a look at that thief that's zapping your energy. And let's see what we can do. Okay, sitting back. Allow your eyes just to very gently close on down. And as you're sitting there, just become aware of your feet, exactly as they are, resting on the floor. And feel the feeling of gratitude towards your feet after all that they do on your behalf. They bring you so many places. They've taught and helped you learn so many skills, from walking to cycling, perhaps to driving, maybe swimming. Oh, so many skills. So coming back to that sense of gratitude, feel grateful for your feet, for all that they've done. And allow your feet then to sense the comfort, the calmness and relaxation that they truly feel because you have been grateful for them. And allow that feeling now to begin to travel and to move. Moving on up through your ankles, up along your legs, through your knees, all the ways up right into the area of your hips, right up into the area of your tummy. So if there's any tension or tightness now in the area of your tummy, just allow that to ease out, just to soften. And that lovely feeling of comfort calmness, and relaxation can move right in and take its place. And allow that relaxation then to begin to travel again on up through your chest, all the ways up, right up to the area of your shoulder. And as it sweeps down along your arms, all the ways down to the very tips of your fingers, that beautiful feeling of comfort, calmness, and relaxation is filling your entire body, your arms, and your legs. And just allowing that feeling now to continue to move, traveling onwards and upwards, up through your neck and your throat, traveling up over your face, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, all just relaxing. Imagine that relaxation then traveling into the area of your ears, just making it so easy for you now to listen to the sound of my voice and to follow all of the positive suggestions that you hear as you begin your journey today. And relaxation moving across your forehead and temples, soothing out the area of your forehead and temples, sweeping over the back of your head, right down along the back of your neck, and reconnecting again with the area of your shoulder. So right now, from the very top of your head, all the ways down, right down, right down to the very tips of your toes, you're feeling comfortable, calm, and relaxed. And in that space, all is well in your world. And so today I say to you that depression or stress, it's like a thief has come into your space, into your body, and into your mind. It snuck in when you were under pressure, when you were busy, when life was tough. It came sneakily into your space. It's like a thief that has come into your home and is there using your cups and saucers, sleeping in your bed. It's like a thief in your home that is using your bathroom, that is picking up your things and deciding whether to wear them. Well, honestly, would you allow a thief to live in your house and use your cups, use your bathroom, sleep in your bed, borrow your clothes? Of course not. And if you didn't know exactly how to get that thief out of your house, or you didn't feel strong enough to tell that thief, there's the door, get out now, well then you can ask for help. People get help all of the time to make sure that they get things out of their house. Well, in exactly the same way, your mind is so precious, and how your body works is so phenomenal that nothing has the right to come in and steal your energy and take your well-being from you. And if you see that energy, that depression is stealing your thoughts and turning them into not nice ones, and if it's stealing your energy and pushing it down and making it feel so heavy upon you, well, you can shout, stop right now. Or maybe you can decide, I don't know if I'm ready to shout at it yet, but I would certainly ask for help. Because this is your very first step in taking back control of your life in exactly the same way as you would take back control of your house and not let a stranger come in and zap your things and your energy with grease and grime all over them. In exactly the same way, you're now taking back control of your mind and of your energy and of your body, and you are not letting anybody move in that space. And so as you listen here today, you can just allow that sense of, yes, I am taking back control of my space and energy. I welcome positivity and joy to be your new staying in life. And as you listen to it now, I am in control of my space and energy. I welcome positivity and joy into my life. And one more time. I am in control of my space and energy. And I welcome positivity and joy back into my life. And the understanding in your mind that yes, you can do this. And yes, it is okay to get help. Just allow that to give you that sense of that you richly deserve, that ease, that calm, that yes, there is help. And yes, it is okay to ask for that help. So in a moment now, I'll count you back again from 1 to 5. And that lovely sense of you taking back your control will come right back to the surface with you. And that understanding is now planted in your mind in a way that you can begin to realize, yes, I can do this. And I am in control of my space and energy. And I welcome positivity and joy into my life. So well done on doing this here today. So coming right back again then from 1 to 2 to 3. Your mind and your body and your energy are all in perfect alignment. 4, more aware now of your space, here, listening. And 1, just allowing your eyes just to gently open and just taking in all that is around you, knowing that this has been a seed planted for your well-being. So right now, I'd just like you to check in within yourself and how you feel just after that very short taster session, that you can take back control of your life and you can welcome joy and happiness into your life again. Okay. So just to recap, as I said earlier, happiness and resilience are skills, and they can be learned. And with consistent practice, they become your new way of life again. Things like gratitude journaling, writing down those 3 things at night, maybe getting out for a very short walk, or even stepping out and breathing in the air. They're all very good for helping you reconnect with yourself. Maybe you can get the wherewithal to meet with a friend for a coffee. Something nice to do for you. And you know that if you need help, help is available. And with more hypnotherapy sessions, then it just eases that journey and builds in the network, the foundations for feeling lighter and brighter and happiness in your life. Now, if this is something that you feel would benefit you, then reach out. You can find me on www.helendoyletherapy.com, and you can book in there for a free consultation. And I would be delighted to meet you on that call. And maybe it's just that you want to go through something with me. And if you feel and we think it's a good plan, then we can work on booking in and just help and take the steps from there. But rest assured that I would be very, very happy to help you. And just on a finishing note, I'd just like to say that happiness is a journey and every step counts. Keep practicing your skills, those relaxations, and brighter days are ahead. Just choose to move into that space and take the help that's available. So, coming to the end of our session here today, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining me and for putting messages in the chat box. I really appreciate it because it helps me to know that it's resonating. Thanks, Mary, and just keeps everything on track. There's helpful messages there as well. It's all lovely to get. And next time round, I will be back. You'll get messages or you'll pick it up that it's being advertised. And we will talk about self-esteem and confidence. But for now, finishing our session here today, talking about depression and the pathways to having a brighter future. To each and every one of you for attending, thank you so, so much. And just know that I'm here to help. Chat to you soon again. Bye for now.